guys, Tomboy601, and today we're taking the Palo Emilio out for a bit of a run. We're going to go over the best ways to YOLO with Palo, because we actually get 3 YOLOs off in this game, which I feel like is an impressive amount. And each one is a bit unique, so I think this will serve as a great video to kind of explain how you should be thinking to set up for each run, because depending on the circumstances, you should be changing the way that you want to engage each enemy, especially when you're going to be doing something as dumb as YOLO rushing them in a boat like the Palo. Now, what is our plan for this first objective? Well, we're a destroyer. We're going to enter our way into B. There's not a destroyer for every cap, so we're going to roll the dice and see what occurs when we come into B, see if there's any other destroyers. Palo Emilio, not exactly the best counter-destroyer ship. Its guns aren't that impressive. Its damage is definitely held within its torpedoes. So we do have to be a bit cautious here, especially knowing that on the enemy team we have an Ostergotland and we have a German destroyer. And the German one's the one I would be a little more afraid of. And unfortunately, it is the Moss right here. Now, we're going to try and do something. We're going to try to set up for a YOLO run here. And the reason we're doing that is because of the last position we saw that Moss. We're going to throw torpedoes so we know he has to back around that island or get hit by the torpedoes. We are then going to nose in into the edge of this island. The reason we're doing that is because we know that if he's doing this, we can approach him from the front. He won't be able to get torpedoes off. We'll get in knife fight range, and before he can turn to drop torpedoes on us, we should be able to eliminate the threat, eliminate the sonar. We'll be all good. So that's exactly what we do. We are far enough ahead where he can't really do anything. We dev strike him, and well, the sonar didn't go away. Yeah, it turns out there's a York over there. This one really scared me right here when that York popped up. So we popped our engine boost, and we're just gonna try to get behind this island again, because we don't want to be spotted. Palo is not a very powerful destroyer when it is spotted. It's all about the ambush, and to be spotted while ambushing, not good. So we dump the torps. York isn't pushing into the cap. He's kind of staying back. So we're going to retreat, drop spot, and then just take this cap. Because if we can take this cap, we'll have the 2 cap advantage, and we can kind of take a measure of the rest of the situation and determine what we want to do once we get this cap. Now, if you're not aware of Palo Emilio, it was a global XP ship, as York takes York takes a torpedo, and we know he had sonar, so he definitely could have spotted those torpedoes. I don't know what happened. Anyways, Palo Emilio is a global XP ship. Its whole shtick was that it is a YOLO rushing destroyer. It has 3 torpedo launchers, like you saw in that previous sequence right there. Each one launches 4 torpedoes. Those 4 torpedoes each do 25,000 damage. And if you, I don't know, were to equip a certain epic module or legendary module, you could get that damage up to 29,000, which is just an absolute disgusting number. With that said, let's go ahead and just talk the tactics, because we just made an incredibly important decision for the rest of this game. As you can see, this game has progressed to basically 2 halves of the map. We had a choice there. Do we go south and help our 1 remaining battleship against pretty much the rest of the enemy team? Or do we come onto the north end towards the seaside and begin harassing and setting up to intercept the ships that are going to try to retreat towards the rest of their team? And that is the play that we are going to go with. And the reason we're doing that is simple. 1, Palo isn't very strong on its own, and it needs ships that are kind of separated out in order for it to be strong. A large clumping of enemies is not that. So that kind of wipes that away from as far as the options go for Palo. So our plan here is, hey, we have 2 caps. We've isolated their carrier, which is kind of the most important bit, because carrier's main thing is to do damage. If we can go and basically make a YOLO run on the carrier, we can eliminate one of their biggest damage dealers, and that should help secure us the win. It's a bit weird, and yes, we are leaving B, but we'll try to provide some spotting as we leave. But we are the most advanced ship, and one of their most important pieces is going to be that carrier, and we can see the natural progress. Either A, he's going to come around the corner of this island, and we're going to YOLO rush him. Hopefully by that time, the Wichita is down, because that could be bad news for us. Or the carrier is just going to go to the corner, and we can go ahead and YOLO rush him there. So that is our plan. We will see how it progresses. But let's get back to the topic of Palo Emilio. Right now, I believe the ship is purchasable, but I'm not 100% sure. I know I bought this with Global XP, and usually GXP ships have like a one-time purchase thing, so I can't see it in the store anymore, but I think that's because I bought the ship, and therefore the game's like, you can't buy it again. But that's just a weird instance because I'm a CC, and therefore a lot of the Global XP ships get given to me, and therefore I don't purchase them, and then they remain purchasable in the shop even when I shouldn't be able to purchase them. It's a bit weird. Anyways, I believe Palo is purchasable right now, and it could really use a bit of love. Personally, I think they just need to switch over the main guns to SAP. Palo pre-exists the SAP coming to the game, so it could be fun to get that back in. With that said, though, we are lining up for our YOLO run, and there's a couple of things we are doing here. One, we are waiting until we get spotted. Graf Zeppelin is a bit of a worrisome thing to try to YOLO because it can use its planes to spot you, and then it can use its secondaries to gun you down as a destroyer. It's very worrisome. You can see what we're doing here is we're kind of tracking towards his last known heading. As we do that, we're just preparing for him to be spotted within this guaranteed range of acquisition. Once he's actually turning, which makes our job a lot easier because it means we can let these torpedoes off way sooner than needed and bring him down with a relatively easy devastating dev strike, which, hey, that's number 2 out of the way. And now on to the third ship, as we are now going to try to use as much of this engine boost as possible to get us back into the match. One thing I was really shocked by for the enemy team is just where this Ostergotland decided to position himself. I was shocked he didn't go to B to try to take the cap, just because it was relatively undefended, and like he knew Apollo was there, so he could easily outgun us. But he's dueling it out with our destroyer. We are going to try to get in range of this Ostergotland just because you can see how little health he has left. And if we can take him down, that eliminates all of the destroyers, all the spotting on their team. That's going to give us a pretty good advantage for the rest of the game. Now, one thing we do need to be a bit worried about here as we are coming in is, if you notice, the other destroyer is staying at the same position on our screen. And fun fact, what that means both in game and in real life, if you are moving and another moving object is staying at the same approximate heading while they are coming together, that means they're on an intercept course. That means they can run into each other. And this is what had me worried, was those torpedoes, because Ostergotland fast torpedoes, I was worried that we would end up catching flack for the torpedoes that come through. Of course, thankfully, he had fired them just a bit earlier than what would have been our intercept course, or that could have been a little bit damaging for us. Thankfully, Ostergotland did pop back up. We were able to knock him down with a couple of rounds from our guns, which aren't exactly the most powerful, but we are now very much in a very close game. You could argue that, this is partially our fault because we abandoned the team to go chase the carrier, but I think we made the correct decision to try to go after their carrier, just because it is such a huge source of damage, of sustained damage, especially on a map where it can easily hide like this. We were able to intercept it. We were able to cut it off. I think we made the right call here. So now we need to make the decision. And Palo doesn't have huge amounts of range on its torpedoes, but we do need to kind of move forward. At this point, I'm very much thinking about how to intercept the Iowa. With it moving away, it's a very difficult intercept for us to do. But I'm also trying to give enough range away to see what happens and what battleship pops up, because we knew there wasn't. But at this point, I'm kind of thinking of like, oh, looking at the map, Iowa is actually moving away from us, right? He's angled away. We are chasing him, and that is not what Palo is good at, because its detectability range and its torpedo range are the same, which means you either A, need to YOLO rush, or B, you need to have a ship pushing into you. Well, we do have a ship pushing into us, so we are going to go ahead and switch our focus onto the Nagato right here, as our Nagato is kind of duking it out with this one and the Iowa, and we are just going to kind of rain our torpedoes out. You can see all of them are out. We barely miss him here, which I think gives him a bit of security. I don't know if he just forgot we have a third rack, but hey, we will take it. This is very much kind of your traditional torpedo run. He thinks he's safe. He's going to angle back into our Nagato, and well, one torpedo, two torpedo, and he is knocked off the map, bringing us up to 4 kills with only the enemy Iowa left, though he is at full health. So we need to plan this one final YOLO run. We are in a pretty good position to, even if we go down making this run, which is a huge possibility, especially at this health amount, we can very easily go down. The Iowa's base damage with AP, so not even loading HE, which would probably be the proper thing to do at this moment for him, is 14,410, which means if he gets overpens, which he is when he fires into a destroyer, he's going to get 1,441 damage. Times that by the 9 guns he has. Well, if he landed all 9 guns in a salvo against us, that would be 12,969 damage, which, if you notice, is a little bit more than the health we have left. And that's if he's using the wrong shell, and also not considering any of his secondaries hitting us. So this is very much a get your torpedoes off as quick as possible and pray he doesn't land all of his shells, or else it could be very bad. We've set ourselves up on sort of this intercept course. We should have the range to engage him as long as he stays within the circle. And you're going to see kind of what we're doing. We're cheating to the left-hand side of the channel because, in theory, we know we should spot him. We're going to set one set on the thing and then the next round short. And as you can see, thankfully, he did not hit all of his shells, or else we would be gone. We end up beaching right there, but he does not have enough time to slow down. And that gives us both the Kraken and the high caliber. And guys, that is our fun little match in the Palo for a Kraken, bringing us, I think, 3,500 XP. Yep, 3,500 for a pretty good game. Anyways, guys, if you like videos like this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. See ya.